What's going on, Barry?
Chilling, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. It is 8 o'clock in the morning for me, so I'm three coffees in and charging. It's nice and smooth.
Nice.
How about you? What's good? What's your day been like?
Just taking care of some stuff, running some errands before I leave for a tour on Australia. So,
Nice. And is
yeah,
it like late afternoon for you? Mid afternoon?
2 o'clock,
Two
2 in the
o'clock.
afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah,
What did you have for lunch?
leftover curry,
Ooh, nice. What kind of curry are we talking?
yellow Thai curry. So yellow, it was like a yellow
Ooh,
curry.
my favorite of the Thai curries, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, thank you so much for taking time to chat and talk about the
Yeah,
upcoming tour. I've got a couple of questions to kind of like get us rolling here at the start. So I
sure.
was going through some recent interviews that you did. I was going through a Reddit AMA that you did a couple of years ago, which was quite illuminating. So I wanted to throw you a little bit of curveball here at the start. So is Joyce Manor an emo band? Can you settle this for me? Because I'm seeing a lot of debate.
Um, I wouldn't say like in the strict sense at all. Like I don't really hear. We don't really have twinkly guitars,
Hmm.
but we occasionally like use that groove, like an emo kind of groove, and sometimes kind of like dissonant-ish chords that you could maybe like associate with emo.
Okay.
But I would say that yeah, definitely not like from any purist standpoint. I wouldn't say that we're like we fit the descriptors of an emo
Yeah.
band. I think we have a lot more in common with like pop punk. There's a
Yeah.
lot more pop, like there's a lot more just blatant pop punk moves that we make. But yeah, but I would say it's emo tinged. Totally, I
Okay.
could, I could totally, I could totally become like it's pop emo tinged pop punk would be a
Yeah.
fair descriptor. I would say, yeah.
I saw a young guy on TikTok who calls himself the Midwest emo guy, and he did a
Okay.
guitar cover of Catalina Fight Song, and he did a pretty good job of that. So I feel like that fits the Midwest.
Did he change it? Did he add it, or is it just a pretty straightforward cover?
Just straightforward cover, but he was rocking out. He was really into it, and I was like, okay, the
Yeah,
kids the kids can see this as a Midwest emo, even though you're probably from
yeah.
the far west. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I kind of get that. I know that's controversial too, but I kind of get that as a descriptor because I think what people were originally talking about when they were talking about that is bands like Cabin Jazz and American Football and
Mm,
like The Promise Ring, that whole like little family of bands, or
sure,
Braid and stuff like that. And
you guys could
yeah,
fit on that bill totally, right? Like that's a
uh,
natural fit.
yeah, I'd be really stoked to. I don't really think the guitar work that we do is
Mm,
like it's we're always in standard tuning. It doesn't have that like open like twinkly thing
yeah,
that I kind of associate with that type of emo. And but that kind of stuff has also kind of been borrowed by like mathier bands, because sometimes
hmm,
you'll have these kind of mathy bands that are doing stuff in like weird time signatures, but they like these like more open tunings where you can do this like twinkly shredding. It's kind
yeah,
of that's kind of probably more influenced by like Midwest emo. But then
yeah.
like people start calling bands like I don't think you need to be from the Midwest to play Midwest emo. Like I know
No, I
what
think
people
that's
are talking
fair.
about.
Yeah,
But I think calling a band like the Front Bottoms or even Joyce Manor Midwest emo, to me, I think we have a lot more in common musically with like where we're from, like the Descendants or Blink-182,
yeah,
or like Jimmy Eat World, who actually
yeah.
are from Phoenix, but just like this kind of region, I think we sound more like that.
Yeah, I would totally agree. And I mean, look, the kids are kind of wilding out when it comes to genre descriptors. Like I was reading a big thread the other day about someone arguing that Deftones are emo, and I was like,
Yeah.
guys, what are we doing here? Come on.
That's been going on forever though. I can remember like back in like the early 2000s, people arguing on the internet about what's emo, you know,
Yeah.
and like I guess there's like the meme of like real emo only consists of the DCR, you know,
That's
like
right.
it's a trope of like an annoying guy. But yeah, I can remember people having that exact conversation, like, well, are the Smiths emo? Because it's very emotional. And then
Mm.
someone else is like, isn't all music emotional?
I mean, I
And
know
it's just
you're a
kind
big
of like,
Smiths guy, so I mean, like, I'm sure you have opinions about this.
oh yeah, they're not an emo band at all. Like, but you know, I think a lot of those like American football dude is, you know, a big Smiths guy too, but that
Yeah.
doesn't make the Smith an emo band.
Yeah, no, definitely not. The other big question I had for you is how does it feel to be one of John Mulaney's favorite bands?
It's really cool, man. You know, like I don't, you know, John is a super sweet and talented and funny guy, and I don't think they were one of his favorite bands. I think he's being nice. I think, but I appreciate him being nice. I think he likes us, and the fact that he's even aware of us is cool to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think he was maybe overstating it. But hey, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take him at his word. I was watching the video
Yeah,
this morning and it was kind of like this weird kind of snapshot of different times for me because he held up a copy of Never Hungover Again, which is the record that you had an anniversary tour for last year. And then it cut to the band, and I think the drum, like the bass drum cover, was kind of like the cover of All
second
Things.
album.
Yeah, of the second album. And then you guys played Constant Headache. And I was like, whoa, am I in
What's
my
going on? Yeah,
am I in my early 20s here? What the fuck is happening? It
yeah,
was crazy.
totally.
What was it like for you guys to play that kind of show on a show? Is that like a new thing? Was that a weird, surreal kind of thing?
We did. Oh my god.
I
I
tried to
actually
see
haven't
if you
thought.
did other like late show performances or anything in your
We
career.
haven't. You
Okay.
know what? You know, I don't even know if I should talk about this, but I will. I
Okay, let's
probably
do it.
shouldn't though. I probably shouldn't because this could go a weird direction.
Okay.
But when Never Hungover Again came out, we did kind of a like TV thing for it's called Revolt TV. And it
Revolt
was
TV.
actually dude, and you know whose network it was? It was Diddy's network. Isn't that
Oh
crazy?
shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he had like I know, horrible, awful. We didn't meet him or anything. And I didn't, it wasn't like John Mulaney where he was like, and now one of my favorite bands, you know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, it wasn't like that,
Redacted.
thank God.
Redacted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. Oh, but yeah, it was his network and we were the band. And the other guest was Gavin Rosdale from Bush, talking.
Okay.
They were just like, and we have Gavin Rosdale here to like ask him about like, you know, the current state of rock and roll. And he
Cool.
was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, you know, it's not really on the radio, but there's a lot of great bands or whatever. I don't remember what he talked about or anything. But yeah, I had that. My grandparents had recorded that, and I watched it on their TiVo or whatever. Like this is back in 2014, but that's like the only other late night esque thing I think we've done.
Damn, that's
But yeah,
crazy.
I mean
I
that's
didn't
pretty bottom of the barrel.
I didn't find that in a Google search, so maybe it's been like buried in a
Oh
bunch of
yeah,
other stuff.
I
But
don't
okay.
even think it was even ever on the internet. It was like a basic. It was like a premium cable channel, you know. And
Okay.
so
I'm gonna jump off this call. I'm gonna try and find it, and if I can,
yeah.
I will chuck it up here for people's
Oh
edification.
man,
But that's crazy.
yeah, totally, really crazy. But yeah, so the John Mulaney thing was definitely the first like late night kind of thing that we had ever done that's like live and people watched it at home, you know, because
Yeah.
I think literally no one watched Revolt TV, so uh, ever.
Ever.
So yeah, I'm just kind of glad that we got to do it at this stage of our career. I feel like a
Mm.
lot more confident about our ability as a band and my ability to like stay calm because it was really nerve wracking.
You
But
look
I
like you were having
can't.
a great time. You looked very
I was.
composed. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think compared to how I would have been in my early 20s, you know,
Mm.
if we had gotten that opportunity back then, I probably wouldn't have handled it as well. And I think we were scrappy. And sometimes scrappy is great in the right environment, but I don't know how well Scrappy reads on TV.
And never said that don't feel right. I think they did something on my brain, and I may never be the same again. 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 And I may never be the same. Well, can I tell you a secret?
I was reflecting on the last time that I saw you guys, which was 2013 with the Smith Street Band.
Okay.
And I found a live review of the exact show that I went to. And the guy who reviewed your set called you charmingly shambled. And I was like, feels insulting, but also like pretty accurate, I think. Like, you are charming, you are kind of shambled. Like, it's a good show. It's a nice, fun, loose show. So I didn't know how to feel about that. But I enjoyed the show.
I think that we were shambolic. We were very shambolic. But I love that. Like, I love if I see a young band and they're just like this ball of anxiety and just kind of it's getting in the way of them being able to play well. I think that can be really intoxicating and really exciting.
Yeah.
It was kind of exhausting being shambolic every night for months on end, you know? Like, because it wasn't put on. Like, that's just how we are.
I know, yeah. You know? It rang as very authentic. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think part of it had to do with the lack of confidence. Like, I feel like, you know, if we just like sucked and we're sloppy and act like kind of like we didn't care, sort of, then can't really judge us, or we can't like be judged. So it wasn't until like later or more recent years, especially after the pandemic, that it was like, I want to actually try to figure out how to do it the best I can and be proud of it, you know?
Yeah, this kind of leads into my next question kind of perfectly well. So thank you for hosting the show better than I could myself. I wanted to kind of talk about this longevity that you've had in your career, because I guess, like, you know, despite your best efforts or intentions, like, Joyce has become like a career band. You know, you've been around for nearly 20 years. You've got a whole bunch of records. And in particular, like, Never Hungover Again feels kind of like a defining point in the band's trajectory. You know, it's the start of your collaboration with Epitaph. It was the record that got the biggest pop. So going on the anniversary tour, playing those songs, playing that record, you know, in ways that you just spoke about like kind of being a little bit more confident in your playing, your performance, the band as a whole. What was it like to revisit, you know, the 2014 era of Joyce and kind of like breathe new life into it?
It was awesome. We did anniversary stuff for the first record too.
Yeah.
And that was cool too. But I'm personally, I like Never Hungover Again more. So it was fun to play, like, you know, probably the record I'm most proud of, start to finish, and, you know, just have everybody be stoked for it was a great feeling. And also, those songs are like, when we made that record, there was a lot of cheating. Like, we didn't, like, some of the basic tracks are recorded live, but there was a lot of punching in and just like taking it a little piece by piece, trying to get. I think the songs we were writing were better than our abilities.
Yeah.
So
it was the first time that I heard Joyce do like a studio record, because like the first record is recorded live, I believe.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the vocals. The vocals aren't live.
Right.
But, and we didn't do like the lead. Like, we've got different tones for the leads. But the bass, drums, and rhythm guitar, I believe, are all tracked live. And then we did some overdubs after that. But yeah, I mean, the feeling of it is definitely live. Never Hungover Again, was more of we're recording to a click track, and there's a lot of syncopation. And if things aren't properly syncopated, it just sounds like a blur and a wash, and it doesn't sound good. So that was us trying, like, I think we tried to record Never Hungover Again live, and then it sounded horrible. And then we're kind of like, why does it sound so bad? And the Joe from Algernon, who produced it, was just kind of like, you know, let's get the drums to a click track. And we were like, no click track. And then he's like, come on, just trust me. And then we got really into it. We were like, whoa, that's how it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was our first studio record. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think like, you know, for all of those reasons, it kind of ushered in this, I don't know, like new era of the band. And I saw a lot of people in magazines, publications, new people starting to take notice of the band. So it was really kind of like this groundswell for you guys. I mean, I jumped in on the first record and I was a fan of that record, and I'm still a defender of all things. I know that record gets a lot of shit, but I fucking love that record. So
thanks. Yeah, thank you.
Bride of Usher is like peak Joyce for me. Big fan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess like, what does it feel like now, kind of reflecting on what Never Hungover Again has done for the band? Like, you've had a bunch of records since then. You've obviously been able to headline around North America and kind of like increase the profile of the band. Was it weird to kind of be doing a 10-year anniversary run for that record? Is that where you thought you'd be in 2014?
No. I had like really conflicting feelings as far as but kind of from 1 minute to the next. When we put it out back in 2014, I would be like, this is the best thing ever. And I genuinely think that with Epitaph putting it out and a song like Heart Tattoo, I was like, we're gonna be on the fucking radio. Like, we're gonna be huge. Like, this is gonna be huge. And then the next day I would listen to it and I'd be like, it's terrible. My singing's out of tune. It's the guitar playing is out of time. I should have, end of the summer, should have had a key change in it. Like, what do we do? Like, you know, I would just kind of go back and forth between being really concerned that we didn't do a good enough job and then being like overly not ambitious, but like it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. Like, as soon as people hear this, like, we're gonna blow up.
Right.
And it came out and that didn't happen at all. It got middling reviews. Honestly, if you go back and read the reviews, they're all
I did. I read some of them and it was like,
like 7.5. You know, it's like
which is
nobody
good.
was like, oh,
that's good.
I know, but it's not kind of how people talk about the record now.
Yeah.
You know, I think people talk about it now as though it's like, you know, our whatever. People say very kind things about the record, but that took time really to kind of cement people's attitude towards that being like our a really beloved record or whatever. So the fact that, you know, that people even wanted an anniversary for it 10 years later is amazing, because like I said, a big part of me did think that we were going to blow up, and I was like excited, but also like genuinely kind of like, I don't know if I want to be a celebrity. You know, like I was like afraid of like, you know, having what happened with Blink-182 happen to me. Like, I mean, not that they've had an amazing career, but I was like, I don't really want to live like do that, you know. But lucky for me, I don't have to fucking worry about that. But yeah, that's how delusional I was, honestly. Like, and just how hot and cold and up and down. But it's nice now to be able to do the 10-year anniversary to kind of see how it all worked out, and it's been really nice. And didn't get mega famous, and you know, it's not, but it is. It's an album that's beloved by people very passionately, like start to finish. You know, like people were singing along the whole thing, and that's special to have something like that people like the entire album.
Was last week. Please, all in his coat. Did you ever know? Did you ever know? Hate it when your roommate's home. Kids out playing in the street. Stray cat looking for something to eat. Drinking, talking in the park. Hanging out till it gets dark. Goodbye kiss, my heart explodes. Wonder, did you ever know? Wonder, did you ever know?
It's funny you talk about like playing the entire album. I was reading some live reviews of the anniversary tour, and one of the reviewers had this thing that kind of got me thinking, and he was like, Joyce Manor are good at doing like the perfect 45-minute set. And I was like, okay. I was like, but that's got to be like 35 songs, right? Because like you guys write really punchy, concise songs. Some of the records are like 16 minutes for the whole fucking record. So like if you're doing a headline set, you're probably burning through a lot of songs. What's that conversation like in trying to curate a full set? Because I mean that's an endurance match for you. I'm sure you've got to like figure out the peaks and the valleys. Like how do you guys like do that?
I think I'm kind of the set list guy.
Okay.
I think I've written the set list for like the past 6 or 7 years, and then it's hard, especially since the pandemic. It's really become a greatest hits kind of thing. Like I actually just went on Spotify and just like put our songs in order of most plays. Like which one do people listen to the most? And then I was like, do we have like a whole set of like songs with over 10 million plays or something like that, and and I just tried to put together this like greatest hits thing because I just thought it'd be really fun after people being so excited to go to a show, and if we just like played all the hits and like no bullshit, no deep cuts, like zero.
I mean, that's your entire career to a T, in my opinion. Like you don't have filler, you don't have bullshit.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, dude. I would disagree with you, but thank you. That's nice of you to say. I never intend to write filler. I never say like, this one's not good, but we need this many songs, so let's pad it out. But with in retrospect, some songs I'm like, I probably should have kept writing. I didn't need to make the album. I think the hard thing is I say that we don't have that much variety in the set. Like a lot of our songs are kind of a similar tempo, and it's just all very like, I don't know, a lot of the same drum beats and stuff. So I just want to have a couple moments in the set where it goes from like something really fast to something slow, just so it's dynamic. And that's just the main challenge, I think, is just trying to move stuff around so that you get a couple moments that are like, dynamic and dramatic. And other than that, just try to maybe move stuff so that you're not playing too many songs in the same key. Like if this song is in C, there's a lot of songs in C. I was writing in C for a long time, so just try to keep those away from each other. And I mean, it's and now we toured so much in the States last year, or so the last couple of years, that I have to like kind of look up like, oh shit, well, what did we open with last time we were in Boston or something like that, because I want the opener to be different at least, because that can get I feel like I would feel a little ripped off if I went to see a band and I'm kind of like, oh, what are they going to open with? It's exciting. And it's like this, I already saw them open with this, like, anyway.
like a deja vu moment for them. Yeah.
Or just like disappointing, like, cause what a band's going to open with is exciting. It's like, that's a moment. They come out and like, oh my God, what's the first song going to be? Like, I would just be bummed if I'm like, what again?
All right. Well, on that note, what's your favorite opener? What's the favorite thing to just like?
I like. I mean, we've done Heart Tattoo a million times. That's fun. Just like drops you right into it. And then similar kind of song, I like Never Be the Same Again for an opener. That's super fun. Just kind of like. And then I sort of, I always kind of threaten like to open with Constant Headache just because it would be nuts, but it would be, I think it's better to build to that kind of thing than just to come out of the gate with it. But on John Mulaney, we opened with Constant Headache.
I mean, I would be stoked as an old head. Like I would be stoked with that, and I feel like you could start that. You could start right there. But I mean, sure, building up to it, that works too.
Totally, yeah. He actually asked specifically for those two songs and in that order.
Okay. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? I was kind of like, all right,
he must be a fan. He must know what's up.
Yeah. I think he is. I don't know they were one of his favorite bands. I think that might have been exceedingly kind, but I couldn't say for sure. I don't know. I'm not.
At least he knows the deep cuts, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Barry, I've got to wrap up our chat here. So, final question for you. Obviously, you're coming back with the Wonder Years next month. I know you love touring in Australia, and we love to have you here. But what are you looking forward to the most when you get back here? What's your favorite Australian thing to do while you're here?
I like to hang out in Australian bars and sit on an Australian patio and just drink beer and hang out and observe. Like I think that Australian people are so, you know, you're just a good hang. And I've met a lot of Australians that are really fun to talk music with, you know, just kind of like rock nerds that like to talk about early punk 7 inches and stuff, you know. It's so on a patio in some awesome bar in Melbourne, like that's the dream.
I mean, that's where I'm at. So I'll come after the show. Let's hang. Let's talk 7 inches. Let's go.
Let's do it. Sounds great.
All right, Barry. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I'll have links in the description for tickets and all that business. But man, thank you so much for taking time. This is awesome.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, dude. Thank you. Subscribe now to the Pitch of Discontent Patreon to receive access to extended cuts of our bonus episodes, as well as exclusive behind-the-scenes content, monthly Patreon-only episodes, member-only votes, TPD community chat, and much more. Go now to patreon.com/tpdpod and join for as little as $5 a month. That link again is patreon.com/tpdpod. Thanks for watching the show.